Hi, Mr. and Genna's third grade class. Today we are going to move on to our next skill, which is volleying. I'm going to go over the PowerPoint with you guys and talk a little bit about what you're going to do for today and then for today's class and then through the weekend and next week. And then you guys are going to go off and do some practice on your own. Let's get started. So first we're going to warm up. So when you warm up, you just go ahead and click this link right here, and this will take you to the warm up. It's about 5 minutes long. So once you do that, you can click to the next slide. This is where you will go. And it talks about the objective. Again, when we talk about objective, we are talking about what you need to be able to accomplish by the end of the unit. So this is going to be practice. It's going to take a lot of practice, but we're going to get there, okay? So the objective, our goal, is for you all to be able to perform the two-handed overhead set and the forearm volley, which is a bump. Okay, that's another name for it. Okay, so the way that you would state it is you would say, I can volley a ball, sending it upward and forward or over a low net or wall. Okay, so the activity today that we are going to do again is volleying, and we're going to try two different ways: this overhand set and the forearm volley, okay, or the bump. So the way the lesson will look, I will take attendance when you do your exit ticket. You just warmed up, okay? We did the objective, and now we're going to go through guided practice, and then independent is where you're going to have time to do this on your own. For the guided practice, I will have another video uploaded from YouTube that you can follow that has all the instructions for the guided practice, which is the next slide. So before we get started, I really want you guys to think about some different sports that we do in PE, and even if we don't do it in PE. And I want you to think about what, if they involve volleying, okay? Now, the term volleying, all that it means is it's keeping a ball or an object in the air without hitting the ground, okay, or catching it. So you are hitting it into the air, okay, without letting it hit the ground, okay, or hitting it out of the air. So think about a couple different sports that may involve volleying, okay? So think about that for a minute. All right, so hopefully you thought about some sports. A couple of different sports that involve volleying are soccer. For example, the ball could be in the air and you can kick it out of the air. That is called a volley. Tennis. Tennis is where you are standing on the other side of the net. If the ball is hit to you, before it hits the ground, you hit it out of the air back onto the other side. That is called a volley, okay? And then, of course, volleyball, all right? Hitting it out of the air because the ball is not supposed to touch the ground, all right? So those are a couple of different sports that would include volleying. Now for today, I want you to keep in mind that there's going to be some challenges. It's going to be hard at first to figure out what kind of force that you're going to need to keep the ball in the air. Sometimes you're going to hit the ball too hard. Sometimes you're not going to hit it hard enough, and that is okay. Okay, it is okay. Now, let's say you don't have a volleyball. No problem. Try to find something in your house. You can try maybe a balloon. If you have like a soft round pillow, maybe a playground ball, a soccer ball, as long as it's not too heavy. Even if you want to try to ball up some paper, okay, and see if that will stay in the air. But just try to find something, even maybe socks. If you can ball up a bunch of socks, that might work. So it's okay if you don't have a ball. You can just try to find something. And if you can't find anything, it is okay because you can still go through the forms, okay? So you can still go through the motions about how you're supposed to do an overhand set and a bump. All right. So the bump, this is how you do the bump. And of course, I will have another video up here showing my hands and how I'm doing it. But this is how you want to look when you're doing the bump. So you have your arm straight, and you're going to actually make a fist with one hand with your thumb out. And then you're going to grab the fist with the other hand. You're going to like cradle it inside, okay? So you're going to have both thumbs lined up, okay, just like this, okay, next to each other. And then when you hit the volleyball, you're going to bump it. It's called a bump right off your forearm, okay? That's the forearm set or forearm pass, and that's why they call it a bump. And you shouldn't be hitting it off of your wrists. It should be right here on your forearm, okay? And you're just going to kind of move your arms up together, up kind of towards your head, not way back behind your head, but just it's an upward motion towards your head, and the ball will hit off of your arm and bounce back up. You do not want to cross your fingers, because if you interlock or cross your fingers, they can get smashed, okay? And again, you don't want to swing your arms back, because the ball will go behind you. You just kind of want to lift your arms up a little bit towards your head. And I will show you on the demonstration video. For the set pass, okay, you want to make sure that you get your elbows high, okay, almost kind of towards your ears. You want to make like a diamond shape with your hands. Bend those knees, and you're going to push the ball off with your fingertips, okay, and you're going to push it over your head. So again, I will show you this set pass. That one's not as hard as the bump, and you're going to try to keep that in the air. So for the guided practice, you'll watch my video of how I am doing the bump and the set. I'll do it, and then you can do it. It'll say we, even though I'm not physically or on live. And then you're going to do it by yourself, okay? And once you get confident and you're able to do it by yourself, you're going to take your object or whatever you're using, and you're going to practice your bump, okay? That's your forearm, okay? That's your forearm pass. And you want to try to do it while you're staying in personal space. You're going to try not to run all over the house or wherever you are. And your goal is to try to not to catch the ball, but continue to hit it up, all right? And you're going to do it consecutively once you get the hang of it, okay? So at first, we're just going to try to hit it up in the air and just see how you do with it, okay? Once you start to get the hang of it, you're going to try to keep it up in the air like about 5 times, okay? If you can do more, that is great. And then you're going to repeat this the same for the overhead pass too. And again, I'll have that on the video. All right, so once you start to get good, this probably won't be today, but you'll have time over the next week to do it. Once you feel good enough, you can work with a partner or by yourself, but you're going to time yourself for 1 minute, and you're going to try to do your volleys in the air and keep track of how many hits you get in 1 minute, okay, or until your ball hits the floor, and then you have to start over again. So I would set my time for 1 minute, my timer, and then I would do the bump. And I would bump my ball over and over up in the air until I either drop it on the ground or till my minute is up. And I want to see how many times I hit the ball. Once you do that, see if you can then beat your score and do better for the next time, okay? And remember, focus on making sure that your overhead is staying above your head, and your bump is when it's coming below your head, okay? So you want to make sure you bump when the ball is below your head, when it's coming down low, and you want to do your overhead set when the ball stays up high. And then the last two, you're going to get onto Pear Deck, and I will have all of this in Google Classroom. You are going to get onto Pear Deck, and you are going to answer these 2 questions. The first is what challenges that you have today, and what can you change for next time. And the second is what skills can you apply to other activities. So think about maybe force. How much force? We just did dribbling, right, with our feet, and we used force, so that could be a relation. Footwork, moving your feet, okay, to get underneath that volleyball or whatever object you're using. And then we talk about hand-eye coordination, keeping your eye on the ball at all times or your eye on the object, okay? So I want you to have fun with this. Have a good time. If you have any questions, you can email me. Otherwise, I'm going to let you guys work on this by yourselves and see how well you do. All of the links will be in our Google Classroom. And again, if you have any questions, make sure you email Mrs. Fisher. Otherwise, I will check in with you guys next week before class on Friday.